Character, get the right people to know me. Connection, get the right people to like me. Credibility, get the right people to trust me. Conversion, get the right people to buy from me. You rotate through those 4 types of content, game changed. So welcome in. I'm excited to talk to you today. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We are doing the Raise Your Game series, and this is episode 2. So we have about 12 episodes in this series. My goal is to take you all the way up until we get to Game On Live so that you can finish this year strong. So if you haven't watched already episode 1, you want to go back and watch that. We'll probably more than likely put the link to that episode somewhere in the chat or around this video. But I just want to lean in and kind of talk to you today. And here's what I want you to think about. Are you in this space where you feel like you're not playing the big game that you are destined to play? Like you're a giant on the inside, but your reality doesn't always match, doesn't match how you feel, doesn't match who you know yourself to be. And maybe it's like it shows up in ways like your offers don't always land consistently, right? You're not feeling like you can create consistently, or your business sometimes feels like feast or famine. You may not be in feast and famine, but it just feels that way to you. Like there's a lot of efforting to get you, or that has got you to this point, right? And from the outside looking in, you seem very successful to everyone else. But deep down inside, if you're really honest, what you know is that for some reason, you are still holding yourself back. I mean, granted, your business does well, but you just can't shake this feeling that it's destined for more. You can't shake the feeling that you're destined for more. And that everything you've done to this point seems minuscule. It seems tiny. It seems too small compared to the greatness you feel on the inside of you. Take a deep breath. Sometimes you might even be thinking, if I could just find the perfect strategy, the perfect tool, the perfect program, the perfect mentor, or show up more and be more consistent with my marketing, I feel like everything would fall in place. Then everything will fall in place. But here's the truth, and this might surprise you. If you have a business that facilitates transformation for others, if you have a transformational business that feels smaller than quote unquote it should be, right? Or it could be, and it feels a bit more labor intensive and exhausting and efforting than you want it to be, then there's only 3 reasons why you haven't hit the $1 million mark yet in your business, if that's your desire. Here's the 3 reasons. Reason number 1, what you're currently building is out of alignment with who you be. You don't really want it. I see this all the time. I have a client who is on the verge of celebrating her biggest sales month ever. She is celebrating her biggest sales month ever and a big milestone in her business. But all last year, what she was trying to build was out of alignment. And it didn't matter what she did. She couldn't call the clients in. And the moment she made a decision that brought her into an alignment with what she really desired to create for her life, the game changed. The game changed. She hit 6 figures in her business in 9 months. Second reason why. How you're building it is not in alignment with who you be. I did this for a long time. Chasing strategies and tactics, listening to people who told me, you got to build your business this way. You have to have this software. If you don't have brand photos that look like this, no one's going to buy from you. And my head was spinning. And I just had to stop one day. It was like I screamed on the inside, stop. This has to come to an end. And from that point, I vowed to only do what I desire to do it how I desire to do it. I always tell my clients, and I'm telling you right now, this gets to look however you desire. There are no rules about how you can build a business. The last one, last reason, it's either one of those two, or you keep hitting your upper limits and you can't seem to break that cycle. I have a client right now who just did an incredible amount of revenue and we just hit a wall, right? She's almost at about $200,000 she did it in 6 weeks. Yeah, 45 days. And now, and I could see it happening, right? So I'm like sending her messages. I'm holding her through this process, right? Mentoring her through this process. And now we're here. And what she realized as we got here is, oh my gosh, this is actually a cycle where I do really, really well. And then basically it gets sabotaged. So what we're working on is normalizing what she's brought in. So if you hit your upper limit and you don't realize it's an upper limit, it looks like outside factors are causing you to lose clients, whatever the things that happen, that's the evidence that you're at an upper limit. It's not the problem. It's an indication of the problem. So those are the three. Those are the only three reasons you don't have it. It's not strategy. It's what you're building is not in alignment with who you be, how you're building is not in alignment of who you be, or that you keep hitting an upper limit. And every time you hit an upper limit, you can't break the cycle, right? So if you look closely, there's a singular thread that ties those limiting factors together, and it has nothing to do with your business or strategy at all. That's the thing that I learned that flipped the switch and changed the game for me. And at Game On Live, we're going to crack it wide open so that it never stops you again. I want you to understand that Game On Live is a transformational experience. It is not an event. People keep asking me, are you going to live stream? To be in integrity with this experience, there won't be live streaming. I either have to be all in on the live stream to create the experience so that people actually get breakthrough, right? It's not just about me teaching content and regurgitating and standing up and having people clap for me and having everybody in the room feel all rah-rah. We're facilitating transformation. So it's either all live or all virtual. That is my anchored belief. So it's all live. And if you want that transformation, you're going to have to make a decision to be in the room. And if you're thinking, because this resonates with you as I'm talking, that you want to be in the room, go to GameOnLiveEvent.com right now, grab your ticket. There's 3 days at Game On Live plus an optional VIP upgrade, day 0. Day 1 is all about identity. It's all about you remembering who the heck you are. What I'm going to do on day 1 is teach you how to unlock what I call your supernova frequency. We're going to eradicate the beliefs, the behaviors, and break the back of every sneaky little fear. Fears that you don't even notice are lurking in the background and under the surface. You don't even recognize they're there. We're going to uproot those things because they're currently standing in your way. They're keeping you from your next level of power. They're keeping you from your next level of purpose, and they're keeping you from your next level of prosperity. And on day 1, I'm going to walk you through my process that will make it simple, natural, and easy for you to show up and begin to receive larger and larger sums of money, right? We want to raise your frequency to receive more, especially more money than you've ever received in your entire life. So here's what I want you to understand about day 1. Day 1 alone can literally catapult you to generate more revenue in the next year, the next 12 months, the next 10 months than you have in the past 10 years. So day 1 is all about up-leveling, recoding your identity and aligning it to wealth acceleration, faster money. Day 2, this is the strategy day, right? Now that we've got you in alignment, now we can pour in strategy. And I'm not going to go into why strategy doesn't work when you're not in alignment. We're going to do that at Game On Live, and you're going to have a really deep understanding of it. And once you know a thing, you can't unknow it. It's going to change the game for you. So on strategy day, we're going to dive into deeply into the strategy behind those elusive six-figure months that you have been longing to create, right? Six figures are the building blocks to $1 million, to your millions. So you're going to learn new strategies and the strategies that my clients and I are using to sell higher levels of clients with ease. People who pay $50K in full, right? Who pay $20K in full. Being able to sell $100,000 offers and actually close those sales, actually acquire those clients and help those people change their lives. And you're going to get a front row seat to learn the simplest business model there is that I used to create my $1 million business with just a part-time assistant, a small following, a small social following, and a tiny list. That day, I'm promising you this. I'm going to gift you with simple, actionable strategies for growth and solutions for your specific business struggles at the level of business that you're currently at. Mistake that people make that overcomplicates trying to create is you're taking steps out of order and you don't really understand why it doesn't work because you're not at that level of business yet, boo. So I'm going to show you what those levels are and what action steps you need to be taking in what area based on the level of business that you're currently in. Simple, simple, simple. Repeat that after me. Simple, simple, simple. Listen, it gets to be easy, and I'm going to show you how, right? I'm going to reveal a little bit of the simplification today. I'll drink some more water. Day 3. Day 3 is about your dynasty. This is about being capable of having a lasting impact and a legacy. It's about mastering your money to keep more of it so that you can build long-term wealth, so that you can give into the causes that you believe in and live an incredible life. The mistake that I see most entrepreneurs make is just focusing on making money. And here's the deal. I show people how to make a lot of money really fast. And what I learned early on in this journey when people just started busting out making all this money is there was a pattern of behavior. And it was like the lottery effect, right? They'd make all this money and then they'd hit an upper limit, right? So I want to show you not only how to acquire the money, but how to hold more of it, to keep it, to maintain it. And I'll be calling on my millionaire friends to help me with this one. I'm making sure you're going to be surrounded by people who move in millions. One of my friends is going to be there in the room. She's going to be on the millionaires panel, my millionaire friends panel. Just closed a $39 million deal. Come on now. I'm like, let me rub on you. Another one of my friends is going to be there, just acquired the rights to a gold mine. We're talking about conversations you wouldn't even be having. So I'm bringing them into the room. I'm going to be in the room, and we're going to show you high-level money mastery systems for sustaining, protecting, and growing your $1 million dynasty. Here's the statistic. I think it's 67 or 68% of small businesses that do cross the $1 million mark never do it again. We're in our 4th $1 million year. This will be year 4 at $1 million. And one of the key reasons that I know and that I'm learning as I'm guiding myself to the next level for myself is that most don't make it to millions because you don't have a prototype, an example of somebody who looks like you, that has your backstory, that you can relate to, that's actually done it. And so I'm bringing plenty of examples. So you're going to be surrounded by millionaires at the 7 and 8 figure level at Game On Live. And the sessions that we're going to do are going to rock your world and blow your mind and transform you forever, because it's not just about creating the cash. It's about how do we protect it, keep it, and multiply it. Game On Live event has 3 levels. 3 levels. You got basic, and that's for you if you're in the idea or just ramping up to your first 6-figure phase of your business, and you're ready to up level your knowledge, break through to your first 6 figures, and you're looking to gain clarity by being in the room. This level, you coming in and making a decision, a commitment to yourself at this level, is all about the frequency of possibility. That's the frequency that you're engaging. by making that decision. Or you can choose to upgrade to VIP if being in proximity to millions is key for your next level. If you desire to rub elbows and be in the frequency of millions, this is your level. And you're likely going to choose this if you've generated some level of success in your business, but you're still seeking strategies to give you the predictability and the consistency that you want in your business. If that's you, you want to go VIP, right? You're going to have some opportunities to network and talk to people that you wouldn't have if you didn't choose that level. You're going to get those examples that you're seeking. You're going to normalize operating a business at that level. What millionaires look like is going to shift for you. Final level, my favorite level. We only have one more seat, one more spot available at this level, Savage. Savage for the truly savage CEO, where ease is a lifestyle, right? This is for a seasoned entrepreneur who is looking to accelerate their business growth and have access and mentoring, because that's what they need for their first million, to get to their first million or their next million. Cool thing about it is lots of people come to me, 500, 600,000, they've been there for years. You want to pop? This is a level of access you want to be in. There's only one more spot available for Savage. All right, let's get into this lesson. The last episode we did, I had you get clear about where you are going, because the truth is, more transparency is required if more of us are going to be making millions, right? Yes or yes? Like, the reason why you can't do it is because people aren't talking. You don't have the example, and because people aren't sharing. And so I'm open and transparent and willing to bring people who are open and transparent so more of us can get there. And that's why we're here. Courage is required for you to get there. Truth is required for you to get to millions. You have to be courageous enough to look at where you currently stand in your business this year and ask yourself these questions. Look at the raw, hard truth, cold facts over feelings. I tell my clients all the time. Are you on pace to hit your goals? Are you behind? Are you ahead of schedule? So if you missed that initial session, go back and check it out, because we're going to keep building on all of this session after session after session throughout this whole series. Today, I want to give you a bit of strategy, right? We did a little bit of mindset. We did a little bit of practicality. Go look at your numbers, write it all down, put it in a journal. Now I want to give you a bit of strategy, and we're just going to keep looping back around between this alignment piece, courage piece, strategy piece, and then the business piece. So today we're going to look at strategy. Tomorrow, I'm going to share $1 million lesson that I don't care to repeat, that I think is really, really important as you grow. But I want to get into today, because today you get to swipe my $1 million content strategy. Listen, so many people will tell you that you need to post online, you need to show up, but very rarely do they show you how or what to post to get people to come forward, right? And not only to get people to come forward, to get high-level people to come forward with their wallets open, cash in hands, for offers that are above $20,000. Somebody did a post yesterday, and the post said, I can't believe people are always saying that Facebook, there aren't any clients on Facebook. The people on Facebook are broke, and so people choose Instagram and other platforms. And I'm just giggling, because over the past decade, it's been a little more than a decade that I've been building my business strategically and intentionally on Facebook and no other platform. And I've had $1 million days. I've had $1 million months. I have filled events, right? We just literally had a $300,000 month using Facebook. So the people are there. What's missing is your intentional strategy, which I'm going to break down a little bit of that for you today. So today I'm going to walk you through how I built my 7-figure company without a website, again, with a small team, and 100% by posting online and on Facebook to boot. All right, so if you don't have a pen and paper, you want to grab it. Of course, you can go back and watch the replay, but I'm about to break this down. And here's the warning to you. So it's going to be super simple. Super simple. And it's going to be so simple for you. Everything inside of you is going to want to complicate it. You're going to tell yourself you're confused. It can't be that easy. What order do I need to do things in? You're going to try to make it harder. You're going to try to add to it. When none of that is needed, boo. Absolutely none of it. I still use this strategy today. And it's the same system I have been teaching my clients for a decade that gets them to call in and draw in six figures faster and faster and faster. I call it my power content method. And there's a few pieces to the entire method, right? But today I'm going to share two pieces, and then I'm going to share the philosophy behind it. So the pieces I'm going to share with you today are really juicy, and they're enough to get you started and to get you out there making money just from watching this. Okay, here's all the pieces that go in the strategy. You're going to write them down, and then I'm going to dive deep into, well, not dive deep, but I'm going to hit you with those two pieces in the philosophy. So the first one is my hit list method. I have a hit list strategy that I use, and I literally used this earlier this month to close six figures in sales. And I actually posted it in our team chat today because I've done this for years, but it still blows my mind how it works when I use this strategy. And to the letter, what I wrote in my hit list is pretty much what we hit for the month. Blows my mind every single time. So, like I said, I'm going to give you all these pieces, high level on most of them. I'm going to dive deep into two, give you the philosophy. Just know that if you're going to be in the room with us at Game On Live, we're going to deep dive this method because this is the linchpin, right? It's the game changer. So we have the hit list, we have the content, which we're going to go through today, and then we have my rapid messenger method, followed by the sales conversation framework that's walking people through the decision-making process where you're the leader using the psychology of sales. The framework is steeped in psychology, so you don't have to really do anything but follow the steps. It's not reading a script, it's helping people walk through the decision-making process. When you don't skip the steps, they can make an informed decision, right? You have less I need to think about it and all of those things. And then the icing on the cake, so there's 5 pieces to this. 5th piece is the system. The system, which we're going to dive a little bit into today. So hit list, content, messenger conversations, sales framework, and the system. Oh, am I missing something? Psychology is the 5th piece, and the psychology behind it all. All right. So we're going to start here. We're going to start with the psychology. Okay. So today I'm going to take you through power content, the system, and the philosophy. Power content, the system, and the philosophy. So we're going to start with the philosophy. I like to start with the philosophy because I'm not the kind of person that wants you dependent on me. I want to teach you how to fish. I want you to understand what you are doing so that you can count on yourself to make money anytime you want to. Having lots of money is never going to make you feel safe. You're likely, if you have a wound around this or a triggering moment or a triggering event around money, are always going to feel like the money's going to leave. You're not going to be able to repeat it. You're going to have that story looming under the surface in an undercurrent often. So having the money and making the money is never going to make you feel safe. But trusting and knowing and having certainty in your ability to create money will. When you know that you can just go post or do something and create a lead and have a client, game changing. Game changing. So my desire is that you're operating from a game changer mentality. All right. So at any given time, there are only 3% of people in your audience that are ready to buy. I know you've probably heard that before. Raise your hand and chime in if you have, but I want you to hear it in a different way. We want to speak directly to those buyers. I heard some people say, we don't want to speak to those. We want to be warming up the audience. Why would I want to do that? I want to make money. If I don't talk to the people who have money in their hands, somebody else will, and they're going to get the sale. They're going to get the client. They're going to get to change their life. what we want to do is we want to speak directly to those buyers, that 3%, while still being of value and nurturing and warming up those who aren't quite there yet. So we want to move them through what I call levels of resonance. And this can get sticky, but here's what I want you to think about, right? It gets sticky because you think that you have to be posting everywhere all the time for people to see you and to show up, and every day. I've seen that too. I'm like, wow, do you ever take a break? It doesn't take all that, right? You think you got to show up and be seen so you can get paid. We hear it all the time, right? Show up and be seen, get paid. Show up. And what I want you to know is operating in that way is the first thing for the truth. We talked about alignment already, right? You need to be in alignment. And this, I need to be everywhere because I'm going to lose something and then people need to see that I'm here, is not aligned to the highest level of wealth and abundance. It's actually more aligned with lack. But I digress. Here's what I want you to understand about this methodology. This is the philosophy behind it. When your posts are intentional, and in this way that I'm going to share with you, not only do you meet the 3% that are ready, but you shorten your buying cycle and move the other 97% through the levels of resonance so they buy in a short and become part of the 3%. And we actually do this in record time, right? So I'm going to show you how to post intentionally so that it doesn't have to be every day, all day in order for you to be seen, right? It's why I was able to cross the $1 million mark with a tiny audience. I had 300 people in my Facebook group when I crossed the day I crossed $1 million, 387 people, I think it was, in my Facebook group, 1,200 people on my list, most of which came with me from another industry that I was in, so probably way less than that. And a very tiny social following. You know, on a good day, I may have 30 people, 40 people watching me live. Yet I make more money and have made more money faster than many people who have hundreds or thousands of people watching them. And it's because of this philosophy. All right, so that's the philosophy. Now let's talk a little bit about the system, and then I want to talk to you about the content. So the system, keyword is system. A system is simply a way of doing things repeatedly to create a consistent result. You know, if you press this button, this thing's going to come out. It's not tech, it's not funnels, it's not landing pages, it's not all the pieces. It's just a repeatable set of actions to take or things to do that works. So I want you to understand that. The system that we use has 3 parts. Write this down. There's an activating event, a qualifying event, and a conversion event. That's it. Now there's different pieces that can be in each one of these. Today, I'm literally just going to look at organic, right? Activating event, qualifying event, conversion event. So the activating event, if we're talking about organic, social, my content strategy that got me to millions, we use Facebook as the hub. That's where I focus all my energy and attention. Is on that social platform. And we put content out there. Now, here's the deal. Facebook is what I'm talking about here. Again, the activating event can be many things. Okay. This is the most simplified version where we're just looking at this. Okay. All we're looking for is an activating event. I don't have time to go down the rabbit hole with all the things that it can be, but we are going to deep dive on this during Game On Live on day 2 when we do the strategy day. Right? So if you haven't gotten your ticket for that, plug it here. To get in the room, go to gameonliveevent.com so that you can do that, so that you can really get an understanding of how simple it can be to build your business to millions if you remove all the extra noise. Okay, so there's lots of possible activating events, but for the purposes of today, we are just going to focus on content, right? A post, a live stream, a reel, content, okay? So from that activating event, which is your piece of content, we want to make sure that though all of those pieces that you're using, every piece of content, no matter what type it is moving people to the qualifier, to the qualifying event. Okay. It could be an application scheduler. It could be all kinds of things. That could be your qualifying event. What I teach my clients to use is Messenger, right? We have some other options, but in this instance, I want to show you how we go from content to Messenger. And we use something we call a rapid call. That's our qualifying event. It takes the place of an actual application and it shortens the buying cycle because you're able to move the process along faster than if you were to send a client a link or to have them complete an application. Just did this yesterday, had a client do it yesterday, doing it again today. Faster process, right? So here's what I want you to understand about applications, and every step we put in place is a filter. And every filter you put in place slows down the process. So how do we accelerate it? We remove some of the filters, right? So this is the 3-step process that we use to do it faster. Okay. Inside of that rapid call, we have a whole framework for running that call so that it only lasts 15 minutes. And it basically takes the place of your application. And you know from that point forward if this is going to be an ideal client or not. And you have an agreement to move forward, which is when people move from rapid, and let's say they do a sales call, they're closing at 90%. It's pretty much a done deal. Okay? Because we give you the exact questions to ask to get on the same page and the framework to follow. Last part of this, conversion event. So in our scenario of content to Messenger, our conversion event is a sales call, like I just mapped out for you. Okay, but it can also be many things. Now, when you go to the sales call, because you've already done the rapid call, the sales call is much shorter, depending on how good you are, right? And how adept you feel at leading. You're still going to walk them through that framework for a buying decision. That's super important. We need that, right? You don't just get on and skip steps because people still need to check the boxes. That call can last anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. Which is much, much shorter. Some of y'all have sales calls that last 2 hours. Don't know how or why. Well, I know why, but couldn't be me. And then you end up without a sale at the end because you have overdone it, right? So we want this conversion event to be simple and effective, and you want to follow a framework. So for us, it's a sales call, and we use my ʀᴏᴜ method to walk people through that conversation. So let's talk about this. So again, this is the model, right? We have your activating event, your qualifying event, your conversion event, right? The activating event activates the lead, the buyer. The qualifying event qualifies the lead and the buyer. The conversion event converts the lead and the buyer. It's that simple. That's all you need. Activate, qualify, convert. Activate, qualify, convert. Remember that. No other steps necessary, no proposals, all those things. If you do this the right way, one call close, done deal. Content. Everything we post with the system I just gave you in mind. Activate, qualify, conversion. We post knowing what qualifying event are we sending people to. What's the qualifier I'm navigating people to? Don't just post and like, oh, we'll figure it out. We already have the system in mind, right? We know where we're moving people through. So I want to talk about the content because so many people will tell you to do all kinds of things. People tell you to, market to people's fears. People tell you, you got to use your methodology. I want to give you 4 pieces of content that no matter what type of strategy you're using, you want to be hitting on these. So you have heard that people buy from people they know, like, and trust, right? So the power content method hits on each of these. So write these down. There's 4 C's in the power content method, right? Character gets the right people to know me. Character content gets the right people to know me. It's what I stand for. It's what I believe. It's what I'll die on a hill for. You get to learn my character, my nature, who I am by God's design, what I believe in, what I'll fight for. Connection content. So get the right people to like you, right? To connect with you, to see you as human. It humanizes you. And so many people forget this because it's all business, right? No play. They want to know if you like Brussels sprouts, like my friend Molly. They want to know if you like chocolate covered pineapples, like me, right? So connection is getting the right people to like you. Why? Because the fastest way to connect with somebody is finding common ground. If you don't share who you are from a connection state of point of view, people don't know if they can jive with you or vibe with you. And they buy really based on who you be. So you got to show them who you be. So get the right people to like you. Credibility content is getting the right people to trust you, right? The right people to trust you. That's why I don't need a huge audience. It's pinpointed. You might listen to me and go, what the heck is she talking about? And somebody else is like, where is my credit card? Got to get a seat to Game On Live. Those are the people I'm looking for, right? So credibility is getting the right people to trust you. Credibility content is about demonstrating your proof of work. We call it POW, proof of work, right? Demonstrate that you are a credible authority and expert in your field. And there's so many ways to do this. I'm not going to get into it now, but you want to have, again, this mixture of all of these posts. The final one, and this is where most people flub it, because somewhere in your head, you have this unspoken rule about how often you can ask for business or ask for the sale. I don't know where you got it from. I don't know. It's like, oh, well, I just came back to my audience, so I probably need to warm them up a little bit before I start making offers. It's conversion content. Ask for the sale. I told my clients in Play Big this the other day. I'm going to tell you guys. People are buying every day. You should be selling every day. People are buying every day. You should be selling every day. Okay? There's not this unspoken rule that you have to give. And what happens is 3 weeks pass by, a whole week passes by, and you haven't made enough offers. So conversion posts are about getting the right people to buy. There's different types of conversion posts as well. Right? Again, we're going to be diving into power content strategically during Game On Live event. So again, 4 C's. Character, get the right people to know me. Connection, get the right people to like me. Credibility, get the right people to trust me. Conversion, get the right people to buy from me. You rotate through those 4 types of content, game changed. Game changed. You just have to do intentional posts, not multitudes of posts. And you don't have to do it over every platform. So question I have for you today, as we wrap up this session, is where can you simplify the system you're using to call in money faster? Where can you simplify the system that you're using to call in money faster? Here's the thing. If you know you have $1 million business inside of you, but you can't quite seem to figure out how to get there, I'm going to make this invitation to you again to get yourself to Game On Live. I feel like I'm going to be saying this like a broken record over and over again. It's not an event. It's a war cry. It's a call to arms to the power player inside of you, the giant on the inside of you that is dying to be let out. I want you to meet yourself there in that room and be willing to unlock every ounce of your power so that you are in full alignment with everything that God has for you. The things that you desire are seeking you, but they don't recognize you because you don't look like you don't sound like you don't show up like you for many reasons. Maybe people pleasing and liking. Maybe you're diminishing your own power because you don't want to overpower other people. All these things. There's decisions that you've made where you've put yourself in a box and kept yourself small. That's why you hit those upper limits. It's like safety. Let's make sure she stays safe, right? She can't sell out the whole thing. Let's sell it out halfway, right? It's a near win. I want you to change that. Unplug from the day-to-day grind of your business and make a decision that could quite literally change everything. All right. That's it for today. I told you that during this series, Raise Your Game, we're going to be doing some behind the scenes. I'm an open book. So tomorrow I'm going to be sharing that $1 million mistake that I don't care to repeat. And there's a couple of them. So I may talk about them both and just talk about what it means to even talk about it. Because I think that transparency is what allows you to grow and align and become an energetic match for exactly what you're trying to create, because it's really about your leadership and your self-leadership, right? So I'm going to share my $1 million mistakes. And if I share one or share both, they both are very, very powerful. Yeah, and I'm excited about it. So again, get yourself in the room. We kick off November 8th if you're going to upgrade to VIP. Otherwise, we'll see you on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Go to gameonliveevent.com. There's a link up above. Here's the deal. If you know that you can't make it because you have a conflict or something's going on, I don't want to hear any other excuses other than that, because we all are like looking for the thing that's going to change something. And I'm not saying my event is a thing, but what I know is I'm fostering an atmosphere that's a facilitator of that type of transformation, right? It's like, I saw this the other day and I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of how I feel about me too. It's like if TD Jakes, Beyonce, and who did they say? It was like one other person had a baby. That would be like what you're going to experience while you're there. Anyway, you want to get yourself in the room. You want to get yourself in the room. There was something I was going to tell you. I can't remember what it was. So I just had a squirrel moment. I'm going to let you go. We've been here about just under 45 minutes. So I hope you got a lot out of today. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to come on, talk about that lesson in the third part of the Raise Your Game series. If you missed lesson 1, go back and watch it. I don't know. I'm excited. There's something brewing and something in the room. And I'll also say this, and I'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. This year, I've been hitting quite a few walls and learning a lot of lessons. And I'm just like breathing through it and allowing the expansion to show up. And some of you don't know how to do that, right? You don't understand that those things are there because of your rise. You might have an intellectual knowledge around it, but not knowing how to hold yourself through it and lead yourself through it so that you come out on the other side up-leveled, right? Instead of backstepping. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you're coming to Game On Live event, oh, I know what I was going to say to you. Squirrel moment, Shameca comes back. If you know you can't be there in the room, there's a couple of links of other things that you can do. If you know I'm your person, you know this community is the community where you want to roll and grow yourself, your leadership, your business. You want to expand, right? You want me as that guide to do that. There's a link for you to apply to work with me privately. You must be at 6 figures to work with me privately. And then there's a link for if you're under 6 figures to join us in Supernova Sales School. Because if you're under 6 figures, the only thing you need to know how to do is make money. You need to learn the 2 skill sets that will allow you to do that. Robert Kiyosaki said, sales is the most powerful and the most important skill set you will ever have in business. And if you don't want to sell, don't bother becoming a business owner. So what I do in that program is I teach you the skill set. Remember, I'm teaching you how to fish of lead generation and sales. I want you to be able to count on yourself to create income anytime you desire. So above this video, choose your level of engagement. When it come to Game On Live event, you want to up level and get yourself in the atmosphere of rapid transformation, because that's what it's going to be, then get yourself to Game On Live event. If you know you can't be there and you have a conflict, but you know I'm your person, choose one of the other levels of engagement. When you do, I'll be here. Your life will change. You will transform. It will never be the same. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment, like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously.